By the 1980s, East St. Louis had declined for decades, with scores of abandoned buildings, high crime, and 75% of its residents on public assistance, where city fathers solved a budget crisis by halting garbage service for 7 years. Then the citizens spoke up.
And they took their complaint to the mayor's desk and to City Hall. And in collectively gathering, they created a mood that change must happen.
And when the newly formed East St. Louis Community Fund polled citizens, removing 30,000 truckloads of trash and thousands of mosquito-infested tires was priority one.
So cleaning up the city is the first step in creating a new positive image for the city and for residents of East St. Louis. People don't want to live in a dirty city in East St. Louis. They've had to put up with it. Now they're taking steps to correct it.
The Law Center, with Ford and MacArthur Foundation grants, organized the community fund and church groups to kick off Operation New Spirit.
Operation New Spirit is a neighborhood organizing group that works with citizens within the 20 neighborhoods of East St. Louis.
The consultant from the Law Center was very effective and helpful to us because he was able to help us focus clearly on what direction steps to take, especially in terms of approaching government, in terms of modifying the codes.
The Operation New Spirit strategy included the founding of Clean East St. Louis, Inc., a nonprofit which contracted with the city to remove weeds and debris, a new health and safety officer, a city ordinance to resume garbage pickup, and a new code enforcer to enforce dumping and abandoned vehicle laws.
Because of the major cleanup that has taken place throughout the city of East St. Louis, you have found citizens who want to band together and join together to start to combat some of the other entities, the negative entities in their neighborhood.
The great thing about having the success of Operation New Spirit is that we can now take that model and focus it on other priorities that we want to get involved in, like youth. We can now work on expanding youth programs in the city. We have some success. We now can replicate it, and we're looking forward to continuing that effort.
With Portland's new sports arena and a light rail system, a booming construction industry means new jobs, but not necessarily for women and minorities, often systematically shut out by an old boy network of unions and construction companies. And even those companies committed to equal opportunity couldn't find qualified applicants. In a sectoral intervention approach, the Law Center partnered with the Northeast Workforce Center to study the problem, and issued a comprehensive report which strengthened negotiations between the City of Portland, Oregon Transportation Authorities, and construction companies, who agreed to use the clearinghouse as a one-stop referral source for training and hiring compliance.
The report was discussed by the Oregon Opportunity Advisory Committee, and they made recommendations to take this course, to fund the clearinghouse and to have more intergovernmental cooperation.
We had an idea now of where the obstacles are. We knew that the projects or the governments themselves actually had some regulatory functions that they could enforce upon the projects. We knew that the training system had a key role to play in this, so we knew how to come in and how to approach this particular industry.
We've avoided the social service connotation of most programs dealing with minority and women issues, and we're trying very hard to become a business adjunct and a helpful program to contractors. We want them to be able to call us when they need a worker and know that they'll get a good referral from us.
I have the opportunity to learn a trade as being a tile setter. This is the beginning here, cleaning the cobblestone for the light rail. When we started, you start out at $8 an hour, and then after 500 hours, you go up to $12.30, and then after 750 hours, you go up to 16, and then you work your way all the way up to 20. This is going through the rough part first, and then we finally learn how to do something really constructive, you know, something that's career going. And I just thank God they got something like that in the community over there that can help us, you know, the ones that's really want to change and try to do something constructive with their lives.
In the last few years, actually, we have seen a transformation of the world, that from the Soviet Union to South Africa, the reunification of Germany, the peace processes in the Middle East. So we know that the world can be transformed. So obviously our communities can be transformed.
In a world where knowledge is power, the National Economic Development and Law Center finds itself in a translator role, bridging the gap between lawmakers and homemakers, child care advocates and daycare workers, architects of federal housing policies and contractors for rural housing developments, expediting the transfer of knowledge from courtroom to boardroom to church basements and meeting halls.
The process of community economic development is an exercise in organizing, capacity building, and transformation. The problems are big. Skeptics scoff at the odds. But when the dreams become reality, individual lives are changed significantly.
And community economic development can work for everyone if we show them how.